I don't trust those trees. They seem kinda shady.
So Laura and I finally finished Wednesday, and we've talked about it on the
Good.
past like 2 episodes. Gonna try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, I guess. But if you want to, just go ahead and skip through. If you haven't watched it yet, I feel like a lot of people have watched it. You can just kind of skip ahead a little bit. But I do want to talk about Wednesday. What are your feelings on that show? I know we've talked about it a little bit, but how did you feel about the show?
I thought it was really good. I think it was really good for what it was. You know, it's not one of those shows that you're diving into it expecting it to be this like all-time great show by any means, but it was definitely better than I anticipated it to be.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
no, when it first came out, all the news was popped up around. It was like, oh, it's the Netflix most viewed show in the first week or something like that. And
Really?
I think,
I
yeah, it
didn't
was
know that.
way up there. Yeah, it popped off in the beginning. There's a bunch of news about it, and I had watched some of the old Adams Family like episodes
Yeah.
back in the day, and I was kind of familiar with the idea and what it was about. And then you got Tim Burton connected to it with, and Tim Burton has done some really good stuff, but then also some of the stuff that he's done, it makes me feel uneasy. So I was
I
like, all right, am I
agree.
going to like this or not?
Yeah. After the first episode, when I saw it was directed by Tim Burton, I was like, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he did a great job. It was just knowing all of his previous work, like you said, I didn't know how to feel about the rest of the season, I guess.
Yeah, I mean he's just a very unique director. I guess
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
I wouldn't put him in the same page as like Quentin Tarantino, but I feel
No,
like
no, but he's got his own style for sure.
yeah, it's like when you're watching his stuff. When I was watching it, I knew Tim Burton had directed. It's like when you're watching Tim Burton stuff, you'll be watching it, and maybe if you don't know he's the director, you're like, "Is this a Tim Burton thing?" Or if in hindsight, you're like, "Oh, Tim Burton directed." I was like, "Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense," because you
yeah,
get that
yeah, yeah,
feel.
yeah.
One
Yeah.
interesting thing, one interesting if you haven't watched it yet, or if you're going to watch it, or if you have watched it, is pay attention, and this might actually annoy you. Pay attention to how much the main character blinks because she
Yeah, I've
doesn't.
heard about this.
I caught her blinking once. So my brother told me about it, about the whole non-blinking thing. I think she like did it, and then Tim Burton really liked it. He was like, "Stick with that. Just don't blink the entire time." And I think we were probably like 3 or 4 episodes in, and my brother told me about that. And then I just, at that point, I just paid attention to how much she was blinking. I caught her blink one time.
Yeah, I think I saw one little passing blink, but it wasn't like a main shot. It was like the end of a shot or something, and she like was
Yeah.
moving out of the frame, and I think I saw it, but I was like, that's just so impressive. Because
Yeah.
some of the shots with her are long, like they're on her for 20, 30 seconds, and she's just staring you right into your soul, you know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like if we're gonna watch, Lauren and I are gonna watch it again. When we finished it, we almost, and this is how good it is. As unique as it is, it's very good. Lauren and I were like, should we just watch it again immediately? And we almost turned it. I feel like we might turn it on this weekend. And what I want to pay attention more of, and I kind of was trying to watch the story and just kind of enjoy it, is some of the ways they were filming her, or just like filming some of the scenes or the color scheme, because a lot of times I feel like she was looking up at the camera, and it just gives you a different feel of her character. And then her character development too, and this will be a slight spoiler, not really, she doesn't really smile into a certain part of the show either. And then you finally get, she has a development throughout
Yeah.
the first season that's really well done. It's really well paced. It's a great show. I'm excited for the second season. They've already said it's coming out.
Well, I mean, the end of the last episode was definitely a huge cliffhanger for we're coming back. So,
Yeah.
which is always exciting. That's always exciting when a show that you like says basically is like, we're coming back.
Yep.
That's
Coming
always
back for
exciting.
season 2. And yeah, it's a really good show. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend it to go watch it. And there's a lot of, one of the girls, I asked her if she's seen it. She's like, yeah, I watched it 3 times already. I'm like, holy cow.
3 times, dude.
Yeah. But then if you watch it, and then I've asked a couple of the guys over at the gym, and some have liked it, and then a couple are like, I just couldn't get into it. I'm like, yeah, it is a very
It's fine.
unique,
Yeah.
it's a unique show for sure. I also watched Black Adam for the first time. Have you seen that movie
Really?
yet?
No, I don't know how I feel about it. So
Okay.
let me know what you think.
No, I've seen it. So
I know.
I will tell you what I think, but I think you should watch it too. Do you have an HBO Max account?
I have yours.
Perfect. If not, I'll give you mine. It's on HBO Max. I don't know how much longer it's going to be on there. And again, you'd have to watch it. We can come back and after you watch it, or if you watch it, you're going to watch it. If you watch it, we'll talk about it. But I feel like it got way more hate than it was actually should have gotten, to be honest.
I mean, that sounds exactly right. It's a DC movie. It's going to automatically get hate, even though it might be fine, you know?
I know there's certain cheesy parts about it. There definitely is. And not to be a spoiler again, but he is OP. Like Black Adam, he is The Rock, and he is OP. But I was fine with it. It's like, yeah, but it didn't look over CGI'd. It didn't look over like crazy or anything along those lines. It was well done, and yeah, he's just can do whatever he wants and not get hurt. But I'm like, I'm cool with that. I was fine with it. It's a comic book movie, but you got to watch it. I thought I got too much hate.
Yeah, that was actually Black Adam was the answer of. So I was with some friends last week. We went to trivia.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a trivia night. Have you ever gone to trivia night?
No, Lauren is trying to. I think her brother used to go to trivia night somewhere in Louisville, and we always talk about going, but we never went. But we'd like to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it, but we also performed well, so that's probably why I enjoyed it. Yeah. If I didn't know anything, that would not be fun. But anyways, so there was 3 of us, and the theme of the night was 2022 movies, and Black Adam was one of them.
Yeah.
But the question was, name one of 2 movies that Dwayne The Rock Johnson was in 2022.
Okay, so
can you
Black
name
Adam.
the other one? Is now what I'm asking you.
Black Adam, I'm trying to think. It's not Jumanji. I don't think he was in Jumanji. Jungle Cruise?
See, that was what I thought. But it was a voice acting role for like...
Oh, the Super Pets?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Super Pets.
Yeah. Well,
and I hadn't seen Super Pets, and I had no idea what it was, honestly.
Yeah, it's not really a trick question, but I mean, he's when I think in it, voice acting.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good trick question, I guess, because it still definitely counts, kind of. He's just the voice in it, but yeah.
Anyways, that was a random thought.
No, trivia. Where do you go for? Where was it at?
So my friend lives in Indianapolis, and we were spending the night there. So we were trying to find something to do. We thought trivia would be fun.
Yeah. So I don't know the one in Louisville Lawrence talked about. They do it. I don't know if they still do it.
I know there's one at Rec Bar.
Okay, that'd be a good spot.
Where we went. I'm sure there's like, I know normally they have trivia. There's like a trivia host, and they go to different venues throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, that's how some work. Some work differently. I don't know, but yeah. So we'll definitely have to find one because I think I like trivia now. I'm a trivia buff.
Do you do it like on your phone, or is it through something they have there?
No, it's on paper, so they hand you.
Okay.
They don't want you to do it on your phone for sure. That's going to lead to cheating very quickly.
Okay, you could actually do. Yeah, okay, makes sense. You just Google as you're looking up.
But they handed us like a little notepad, and we turned in all of our answers as they asked the questions. And it was cool too because you could wager a certain amount of points on each question.
Mm-hmm.
But you would get 2, 4, 6, or 8. But once you wager that number, you can't wager it again for the round.
Okay.
And so if you were confident, you would put 8 points. If you weren't confident, you put 2. But if you use your 2 early and then other questions come that you're not as confident on, So it was interesting to play that game. But yeah, there was 3 of us, and we were tied for first for the longest time with the team of 11.
Oh.
Tell me how that's fair. Tell me how that's fair.
No, they should have split that team up at least in 2 teams. No, you can't have. I feel like 5
11 is insane.
Yeah, that's as far as the questions go. Were they like? It bothers like trivia for. Let's say you watch like Jeopardy, Some of the Jeopardy questions, I was like, who knows this? And it's like a different, I guess, a different level. Not saying I don't know some of the Jeopardy answers, but
I know exactly what you mean.
Were they questions that were kind of like the movie one? Like, that's a good question, something that's unique, but
yeah, I
accessible.
like the questions, and maybe it's because we knew so many of them. But like the first question of the night was, where was paper money first used?
Yeah, I don't know.
We guessed China. Got it right.
So it's multiple choice or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
We just guessed.
China, paper money, China. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a really,
and then another
smart guess.
Yeah, another one was, what scooter brand had the most scooters for sale, or the most sales in scooters in
Razor.
the year 2000?
Razor.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I knew that one.
And
yeah.
we knew that one because we're like, Razor scooter is the most popular scooter of all time. So
I couldn't even name another scooter brand.
No, no, we couldn't either, but we were like,
Yeah.
it has to be Razor.
Yeah, that's the best guess. It's nice that it's not multiple choice too, and I feel like
Oh yeah, because you know or you don't.
Yep, that's fun. No,
That's trivia for you though. That's what it should be.
There we go. I'll actually, when I get off here, I'll text Lauren because she's always wanted to do it, and maybe that's something we'll do. Trivia night.
I
Sounds
agree.
fun to me.
I think we should do it.
It'd be fun. Okay, so speaking of games, actually, I'm going to say this first. As far as speaking of games, Jackbox TV. I feel like that's kind of like very much like a trivia game as well.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah,
trivia game. If you never played Jackbox, I highly recommend it. It's a. I'll explain kind of what it is if you don't know what it is. You can get it on like PlayStation, PC. I don't know if you could just download it on an iPad or whatnot.
I don't really know. But I think it's on Switch.
Yeah, it's on most consoles, I believe. I don't know if you can just access it if you don't have a console or PC, but it's a bunch of games, and you can buy like 1, 2. I think they have like 10 of them out at this point. And they have these little mini games where you just go onto your phone. Everyone just goes on their phone, goes to a browser, and types in a certain website. And then on the TV, there's a code that you type in, and it basically puts you into the game. And then you play through your phone what's on the TV in the game. So one of them is like Drawful. And essentially you get a prompt before you start, and you have to draw the prompt as best you can. And then everyone draws a different prompt, and on the TV, it'll pop up. And you have to try to guess what it is. So then you type in what you guess what it is, and then everyone's guesses come up on the screen, and there's only one that's correct that the game puts up, and then you have to try to figure out which one's the best. And you get points if you draw it well and everyone guesses it, and you get points if you guess it correctly. And it's a really fun game. And there's different versions of that. There's different stuff you can play too, but it's a really fun game that you can do with your friends or family. That is pretty simple because everyone has a phone.
Yeah, I like Jackbox a lot. I think it's the perfect party gathering game, whatever you want to, like, it's just something easy to throw on the TV. Everyone's going to have a good time, and you don't have to sit there and be like, what do you want to watch? What do you want to do?
You also don't have to explain the rules. It's kind of, a lot of stuff is pretty not self-explanatory. It's just kind of, all right, I got it. You kind of just get it. It's
definitely a lot more straightforward than most board games.
Yeah.
Where you sit there and you explain every aspect of the board game, and then you're 20 minutes in before you've started the game, and then no one wants to play anymore.
Yeah. Or a board game, or like card games. Sometimes they get complicated if everyone's not played.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to play the first round of hands where everyone has their cards facing up, and you do this. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy card games and board games as well, but this is just the easier version of just throw it on the TV. Everyone can play. You can have up to 8 people for a lot of the games, and everyone can kind of be involved with it. And it's Jackbox TV, a lot of fun. I love that game. But what I was going to say is, and I'm going to say this on record, and I probably shouldn't, there's been a couple of times where we've done Jackbox TV, not with you guys. This was actually, I think it may have been, there was one time where I was getting really upset with some of the trivia questions. So I was seeing how fast I could Google the answers.
No. You cheater.
I did cheat. I'm sorry. I did.
Oh my gosh.
I did it that one time, and I was able to Google it fast enough to really actually get a lot of them correct because of it.
No, unacceptable.
I put it as a challenge for myself.
Did you win? Did you win?
Honestly, I don't remember. I know I was just, for me, it was like I was playing a game against the clock on seeing how my Googling skills was, which you could almost make that in a completely different game where it's like, all right, we're going to do trivia, but everyone can Google and you can see who's the best Googler and who knows the answer.
God.
That could be no, I just made up a whole different part of the game now. Now everyone can Google. Now it's based on your Googling speed and whether you can put it in fast.
That means you got to come up with trivia that's super niche. That's not just going to pop up on Google. Like the first thing where it's like, this is the answer.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
You got to come up with something that won't show up right away.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like, who's the actress that played in blah, blah, blah. It's going to be too easy to find.
That's too easy.
Yeah, had to be something a little bit more in depth. But
what was the color of her dress in this scene? That's what you got to.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea. I actually like it. Googling as a game is because some people do pride themselves on how fast they can Google and find information.
Oh, yeah.
I am. Yeah.
You're one of those people, clearly.
No. I don't pride myself. I've joked several times on here my Googling abilities. I will find it eventually, but my initial Google is typically like a grandpa, and I just type it in so ridiculously. It's like, yeah, I'm not the best Googler. Lauren's definitely a better Googler than me. But we could have a speed Google off. It's
so funny the random stuff that you'll type in Google to try and find information. I like. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, because that's how I always do Google.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, I saw one episode of this TV show, and then you're basically just describing the episode in the Google search bar, hoping that something will come up.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is you can kind of, if your first one doesn't initially hit, the amount of information out there that's logged, you can kind of find your answer still, and it's insane of how quickly you can find some of that stuff because of tags or whatever.
Pretty much anything you want answered, just put Reddit at the end of the question.
Yeah,
easy answer, easy like forum posts. Multiple people have answered your question somewhere in the world. So
I'm gonna age myself real quick, and maybe you can answer this for me. Maybe this is the moment in time for me to have this answered. Cole and I kind of had a meeting this past week on some creative concepts that we're doing, and he threw some podcasts at me that I should listen to. And I listened. I won't say what it is. I listened to one of them, and they talk about his subreddit. And as I'm listening to it, and the guys that do the podcast, are they around your age? Do you know how old they are?
Yeah, they're in the mid-20s. Okay. One of them is 30, and they make fun of him for being 30.
Okay.
And all of them are about mid to late 20s, though.
Okay. There's 4 of them, right?
Yep.
Okay. There's 4 of them on this podcast, and he talks about his subreddit. And I'm going to be honest, when it comes to Reddit and subreddits, what is it?
No.
What is a subreddit? What does that mean? When people put that into, I don't understand. I know what a Discord is, right? So a Discord, obviously, that's simple. Like that. I'm fine with that. But do you even, what does he mean when he says, or they're on my subreddit? Like, is that an appropriate question? I don't know if that's the right way to ask it.
No. That's fine. You're asking what a subreddit is, right?
Yes, please explain for me.
Do you know what Reddit is? Do you know what Reddit, just the entity, is?
Okay, let me try to explain what I think Reddit is.
Oh, that's better. That's much better.
Okay. This is going to be so bad.
Oh, no, I'm excited. Go ahead.
If I were to try to get on, if I was trying to get on my computer and find Reddit, do I just type in reddit.com?
Yep.
Like, okay, so it's.
You know what's super funny? Another podcast that I listened to, one of their longest running bits was they didn't know what Reddit was, but they knew what it was, but they acted like they didn't. They were like, I'm sorry, Reddit? REDDIT.com? Is that the website? So this is very ironic to me because I listened to that podcast and that was their running bit. Okay. So type in REDDIT.com.
I just did it.
Are you in there? Are you in?
Okay. I'm on here. Okay.
So there's 2 things. There are Reddit users, and that would be you/username. A subreddit is a place where people talk about a certain topic. So go ahead and type in the search bar, you could do r/sports. And there are different communities or subreddits that are involved in sports. So click on the thing that says r/sports.
r/sports. I am okay. The
So
community
now,
part.
yes,
So there's like
you are
there's
in the community, and
Okay.
this is the subreddit. This is the subreddit r/sports. Reddit is just a big forum site with a lot of subreddits or sub forums for specific topics.
Okay, so I could create my own if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? So I can create
You
my
can
own.
create. You can create the Edge subreddit. You can create the Brandon Gunzelman subreddit. Yeah, it's
Okay, and then people can post on that
Post.
subreddit.
Yep.
They can post or they comment or they actually
They
can make
post.
posts.
They can
Okay.
make posts. Now, people moderate what people can post,
Okay.
obviously, and make sure that people aren't stupid. But that's a subreddit for you. It's just any topic in the world. There's probably a subreddit for it. At
Is there
some
any
point.
specific ones that you follow, or is it just like it's just random?
It's pretty random. Some wholesome ones. There's like r/cute or r/aw, and it's just like dogs and pets and stuff.
Okay.
Just super cute stuff. I like r/praise the cameraman. It's just super cool shots that a cameraman took.
Oh, I'm gonna find that one real quick. Why is it always r/?
Yeah, because it's like Reddit / and then the subreddit.
Okay.
That's sort of the technical deal.
So
for
this
it.
one has the Praise the Cameraman has 1.2 million members. Let's see what some stuff. This is I'm not kidding you when I say I had no clue. I've let's say I've Googled something before and then it sends me to Reddit and
Yeah.
then I'll read the people like what they're talking about in
Yeah.
it. I've done that before and that's the extent of how I understood it. But the whole subreddit thing, I'm like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
So now I know. Now I know. And hopefully there's
So,
tons of other viewers
yeah.
that are also like, Cole, thank you.
Oh gosh. Oh man, we've got the episode title now.
Yeah.
What is Reddit?
What is Reddit? You're welcome.
Okay, so but next time you search one of those things and you click on the Reddit post to find your answer, you'll see two things at the top of the question or whatever. It'll say r/, and then it'll be the subreddit that it was posted in, and then it'll be u/, and that's the person that posted it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. It makes a ton of sense. It's not really that difficult, but I guess
It's not that.
yeah.
It's not that difficult. You just
not that
have
difficult.
done zero research into it.
I've heard it so many times, and I just didn't know what it was. Like I said, there's one of the videos
this
on
is
here.
so goofy. I love it.
I feel like
Okay.
I should pull this up. There's a video on here that I saw on TikTok. I might actually just pull this up on the screen. I don't know. We'll see here. I'll pull it up on the screen. If you're watching on the YouTube, you can just watch it as well. But I saw this on TikTok, and let's see, do it right. All right, can you see that?
Yep.
All right, this video of this guy. This is if just watch it, and there's no volume, which is fine. This guy's going up a ski lift, and he loses his handing, and all right,
gosh.
dodges that guy, and then the next people watch this disaster.
Oh no. Oh god.
I don't know how far he slid down, but he's just Yeah.
Oh gosh.
so. This is. I wonder if this was posted on Reddit first, or if it was initially posted on TikTok.
I don't know. That's probably the weirdest part about like social media. I just never know where something was originated from.
Well,
This week's highlight is Paul's Fruit Market. Fortunately enough, I know the owner and actually had the opportunity to train his son over a couple of summers before he went off to college. Paul's is without a doubt Laura and I's favorite place to actually buy steaks or fillets. The fillet you can get at the counter is always incredible. If you really know how to cook a good steak, I would argue it's really hard to beat, even in comparison to some of the top restaurants out there. All of their produce is always fresh. Over those summers, I had the opportunity to learn a little bit about how Paul's operates. And I can tell you, it really is always fresh. It's not just a gimmick. The way they operate, the way they get their produce, it is fresh for sure, which obviously leads to a better quality. If you need to get some fruits and vegetables that are maybe out of season, your best bet is to go to Paul's. There's so many great things about this place. They have dips, sandwiches, salads, produce, steaks, you name it, they have it. As a locally owned business, and them too being a support of other local shops and businesses like Lots of Pasta or Dano's Seasoning, that is why Paul's Fruit Market is the highlight of this episode. I recommend, if not anything, next time you're looking to cook up a steak, head over to Paul's and get a couple of fillets. Lastly, with this highlight, I want to try something new. To see how much reach or impact a single 1-minute promo can be for a locally owned business, do me a favor and head over to their Instagram. Simply search Paul's Fruit Market, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the description below. Let's see how many followers over the next few weeks Edge can send to their page. And even more of a reach, maybe comment Edge sent me here or just Edge. Who knows? Maybe this could help this podcast get its first big sponsor. Thank you. Now back to the episode.
And this is so true. And when we talked on Monday about some of we're posting of like cross platforms, TikTok, Instagram, some of the videos and whatnot. I'm such an idiot. I was sitting down. I was like, okay, what I really need to try to do here is, okay, I need to figure out a schedule of posting some of the stuff that I do. I already kind of have a slight schedule where I do stuff on Tuesdays and then I do stuff like on Friday or Saturday because they have a good hit as far as posting on Instagram or TikTok. And I haven't done as much stuff on Facebook. But the real one that I need to do put more time into is YouTube Shorts. And it's not because they're more popular, but it's because
they
a lot
draw
of
attraction.
Well, it's that, but it's also the demographic of most of the kids that I train. They don't have TikTok and Instagram, which I understandably, it's just really not appropriate for their age on a lot of the content. But they do have YouTube Shorts, and that's what they watch. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. But the nice thing is, I have all of my old videos that I've posted on a hard drive, so I'm just going to start slowly uploading those to YouTube, and boom, there we go.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
So freaking YouTube. I'm such an idiot.
No, I've heard some crazy stuff about YouTube Shorts, though. I think like some people will just get an easy 10 million views for just the most random video.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like the video you showed me the other day of what is it, the Cheetos, the Cheetos bag with the music in the background with like 1.2 million views. Or
that's like a trend now.
I don't even know I can't even explain what you showed me, what it was, why it had. I don't know. Some of the videos that just take off.
Yeah, it's like a trend. Everyone I've seen probably 4 of them have 500K likes, easy.
Yeah. It's a whole game of editing and creating content and how well can you edit and do this. And it was like the other thing you showed me with the Bills and as far as what they post. Was it the Bills?
Oh my gosh.
Instagram
the
page?
Buffalo Bills TikTok is the most unhinged TikTok I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's
hours of editing for sure.
Yeah. Cole showed me a video from them as far as, again, some of the styles of taking on different ways of editing videos just to keep more attention and retention on the stuff that I'm doing. And that video that TikTok was, what do you think about it? Was it almost a minute? Maybe
it was
less?
Pretty long. It might be just under a minute, but it was fairly long.
That edit probably took,
oh my gosh,
2 hours. Long. For one, because the amount of cuts and put this in, put that in, and then like they had to research some of the stuff they're putting in as well to make it make sense as far as how it's like, holy, that's a person. This is one person's job to do that video. It's unbelievable. But yeah, all the crazy stuff you got to do to make content pop. I have a video coming out here soon for a little challenge that I'm doing for myself that I'll just announce it here. It's not that big of a deal, but it's either next week or the following week. I'm going to do probably on TikTok, and I might go ahead and put it on YouTube as well. That might be my 2 spots to post it. I'm doing a challenge for myself, and there'll be way more details about it later on, but I'm going to try to get 10,000 followers in 30 days. And I've essentially started my template for it of basically I have this, and this, and then I have a video of that I took of Kylo. I put my Edge hat on him and I did a voiceover with it.
I like
that. And it's basically me saying, put all these hours in editing videos, but a 10-second clip of my dog will get blah, blah, blah. And it's exactly what exactly. But Kyle and I are teaming up in that where he's going to be a big part of it as well. And I ordered him a cape. Kylo has a personalized cape coming in. So look out for that.
That's
he's going to be. I went on
hype.
Etsy and I found a shop and I messaged the lady because she does customized capes. And I was like, would you be able to put my business logo on one of the capes? And she's like, yeah. And I sent it to her and we talked back and forth and she's like, I'll send you a proof. So I should have it today. So Kylo's going to have an actual like silk looking superhero cape that has the Edge emblem on it that attaches to his collar.
I like that. I like that.
That'll be a part of that whole thing.
All right. If you get your 10,000 followers, subscribers or whatever, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for them? I think that's a key thing.
Yeah,
You got to
no, that's a
have
good.
something for the viewers.
That's something I can definitely think about. No, that's
Definitely
something I
think
can.
about it, and then you got to announce that because
What do I
I
do?
mean, some people shave, like
Nope,
shave their
not an
head,
option.
You
No,
know?
I can shave my head now.
All
I think I
right,
say
all
shave
right.
my beard. That might be a little too gimmicky. I was thinking.
I don't know. I'm just saying,
No, it's not.
people
Yeah,
do
it's a good
crazier
idea.
stuff. The podcast I listened to, they were like, if we get 10,000 Patreon members, then I'll shave or I'll wax my whole body.
Jeez, 10. Well, was it 10? You said 10,000 Patreon.
I think it was 10,000 Patreon members.
Yeah, and you got to think that's $5 per person, probably
It was
minimal.
so much money. Yeah,
And that's a lot of money. And,
Yeah.
and I will shave my
Anyways.
head for $50,000 a month. Yeah, I will do that for sure. But just subscribers, just to be there. No, there's something else I
I
can
mean,
definitely do.
You got to come up with something.
Yeah, got to separate yourself from other people. I'll run a 40-yard dash. How about that? You can see how slow I am now that I'm 30 and all I do is work and don't work out enough. Yeah.
How about a race with Kylo?
He would destroy me.
Well, that'd be funny to watch.
Yeah. Kyle and I,
We'll figure it out.
I know it's a good
Yeah.
idea. I do like it. If I get to 10,000, it's that template. I don't know if I'll be done with it by the end of the week. Hopefully, probably by the end of next week, and then I launch it kind of in February. But we shall see. So, what video games are you playing right now? Are you playing? You got the new PC. So, you were gaming last night when we were watching stuff, weren't you?
Yeah.
Before we started watching stuff.
Yeah. I've been playing so much. I kind of feel like a degenerate for playing it.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K23.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that I feel like a degenerate playing it is because it's just such a pay to win type game. You know what I mean?
Are you playing online?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I've played online. There are people that are way too good at the game. Like they just dominate me, and then I rage quit because I don't really want to sit there while they're dominating me. But no, I've enjoyed the my team aspect, which is where you basically collect cards of certain players, and you can play with those cards on your team. And then there's also the my player aspects where you're playing as like your career, my career or whatever.
Yeah.
And you are slowly making your player better, like paying for attributes and stuff through the money that you win in the game. But the main issue with this game is if you don't spend money, you're not going to like get all the stuff that you want out of it. So that's pretty annoying.
Yeah. As far as like,
anyways,
yeah, sports games. Have you ever played FIFA?
Briefly, not enough to where I like, enough to where I could say that I've played it, but I have played a few games here and there.
That was the big sports game that, not that it's because I played soccer, even some of my best friends, they definitely more basketball, football, and they would play like 2K and they would play MLB The Show. But whenever we get together in college or in high school and hang out, FIFA was the go-to. And even if you didn't play soccer, and I feel like that's kind of one of those games. Maybe we should play some FIFA. FIFA is fun.
I'd be down. Do you have it?
I have one. I just don't know which year it is. It's older for sure. It's not
Gotcha.
one of the newer ones, but they're so similar every year for the most part.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Well, and that's my other issue with like any of the 2K games. Sorry, is the year after you buy it, it's irrelevant for the most part. Like if you're doing certain aspects of it, like the online play or the My Team thing that I'm talking about, where you build your own team, because they stopped creating cards for the previous year, obviously, because they're focused on the next one.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes stagnant and no one's really playing it.
Yeah.
Which is really annoying.
I've played a couple of 2K games back in the day. I know, you ever played any of the Tiger Woods games?
Yes. I actually, so when I played a lot of Xbox 360, which has been a while now, but we had Tiger Woods, whatever year, 2014, 2013. And my stepdad was big into that game. Like he had like the top level driver, top level player. He was crazy. He was like, you know how you can play different seasons and like it just goes into the future forever? He was like 10, 12 years into the future.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that game's a lot of fun.
That much.
I would like to. Quite honestly, it'd be fun to go back and play that game. Maybe we're gonna maybe we need to go back and play some old school games when we hang out for a little bit. That sounds like a blast. Or Tony.
I still have my 360. So.
Yeah. Well, see, PlayStation 5. I don't know how far back games you can play on the PlayStation 5. I think it may be only.
I don't know. It's got to be only 4, right?
Yeah, I feel like it. Well, PlayStation 4 is they shouldn't have done that with the 4, where it's you can't go back and play games previously. That's so annoying.
Yeah.
I still have my PlayStation 3, but it's like plug it up and whatnot. It's like, well, yeah, I know it's so like it's so petty, but it's like, can I just throw in Tiger Woods in my PlayStation 5? That's a supercomputer. No, can't do it. I get it. It's fine. But Tony Hawk too and it's not really a sports game, but you were playing the Tony Hawk games were.
I think I played like a skating game. I don't know if it was specifically Tony Hawk, but I've definitely played a skater game before.
Yeah,
those are kind of fun.
Yeah,
because you just like. I don't know. You just mess around. You don't really do anything. Like there are story modes and stuff, but you're just like trying to do the craziest tricks, you know?
Yeah. What was the first like? So my first console when I was a kid.
I was going to ask you that. I was just about to ask you what your first console was.
It was, I think, it wasn't actually N64. It was a Super Nintendo. So I think a Super Nintendo was the first one we got. And then after the Super Nintendo, we got an N64. But I don't feel like we played the Super Nintendo for sure, but we didn't have nearly as many games, and we weren't as old as the N64. The N64 we played a ton. What was your first console?
Mine was actually, and this is again our age gap here. Mine was the Game Boy Advanced.
Okay. Yeah, so I still have it with my parents. I have an original Game Boy. It's pretty big. I have the black one. And it still works, and it didn't even have a backlight. So in order to
I know, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. Well, is it the Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy like Color one?
What even that? It was before
the one before that.
Okay,
original. Yeah, got it.
The original Game Boy had a black one, and it didn't have a backlight, so
you just can't play at night.
Yeah, well, no. So then they had this ridiculous thing that you would basically on the top of it, you would put it on top, and then it had like a screen that was clear that had lights on it that beamed down, so you look through it like almost like a not a magnifying glass, but it was just a screen that you had to look
like
through
lights.
That had lights. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And
I still have that
goofy.
too. Yeah,
that's so goofy. You know, they didn't come out with the backlight until the Game Boy Advanced SP, the one that flipped up.
Had that too. Had the silver one.
I can't believe it took them that long to like figure out. Oh, maybe we should do it just inside the console. Yeah,
well, I mean, so my Game Boy Advance, instead of, again, it didn't have a light, right? The Game Boy Advance that I had, so I had the regular Game Boy, then I got Advance and an SP. My brother had the Game Boy Color, and then, it doesn't matter. But in order to get a light for it, he basically would plug it into the side of the Game Boy, and it had like a little swirly light that like they're just like a book light. That's the light that we use for that one. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The SP though, did you have an SP?
Yeah, well, actually, that's what I was going to revise. Is my first one was actually the SP, not the Game Boy Advanced.
Which color did you have? Do you remember?
Just black.
Black. I had a silver one.
But I had someone basically gifted it to me for $5, so it was really sick. But yeah, so God, so many memories with that game. I was trying to remember what games I played on it, and the only ones that I could remember there was a Zelda game. I don't remember what it was. Don't ask me. You could probably Google it and I'd see. I didn't play much of that, but I played a lot of Pokemon Sapphire.
Pokemon Sapphire. Was that your first Pokemon game?
Yep. That was it. Got me hooked.
Pokemon. So here's the crazy. I never even played Pokemon Sapphire. But when I was a kid, that's when Pokemon came out, obviously.
Yeah.
And it was the first two were Pokemon Blue and Red.
Yep.
And I had Blue, my brother had Red. And
do you still have those?
Dude, I have all of that stuff. I have all.
Are you serious? Do you know how much those are worth?
The Blue and Reds?
Yeah, I mean, some pretty decent change right now, I think.
Yeah, I could go to my parents and I could charge whatever. I could charge my SP up right now and then put it in, and my Pokemon are still on there.
Oh, that's so sick. That is so sick.
I have Pokemon Yellow too, which Yellow arguably was not the better one, but it was just kind of more convenient playing, and I played that one more. Yellow, and then after that, it was
Crystal,
Silver and Gold.
Or it was Silver and Gold, and then Crystal came out. Yeah.
So I stopped at Gold. So I had the Gold. My brother had the Silver. We always were kind of different. I stopped at Gold. That was the last one I really.
Gen 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's so early on. They're on like Gen 9 now. You know that?
Yeah. God, those games were so good. I really, it would be. I think it'd be a really, really smart move. I don't think they'd ever do it. I really wish they would just take Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow, whichever one, and just update the graphics a little bit, but the same exact game, and launch it on Switch. Don't change anything. Don't give me new Pokemon. The same story, same Pokemon, but then allow you to like battle people online with your Pokemon.
Okay. I'm going to say something crazy now. They've sort of done that. It's not the same, but like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is basically Pokemon Red.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's like the same storyline. It's different mechanically, but it's basically the same storyline. But they also have Fire Red and Leaf Green. Did you ever play those?
No, I haven't played any of those. You're telling me that it's literally the same thing.
So Fire Red and Leaf Green was released on Game Boy Advanced, and it was updated graphics, same gameplay.
Okay, I'm looking this up.
You're looking it up now.
I don't believe you. I need to know this. So Fire Red version. Holy cow, these things are up there in pricings. Well, that's how it's still on its okay, Leaf Green version. Okay.
That is Red and Blue, updated graphics.
Okay.
But it's for Game Boy. Game Boy Advanced.
I want it on a console.
I know. Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu are the same story, but mechanically they change some things. So it's not quite what you would want.
Yeah. I want the same exact game.
Have you seen the Nintendo Switch stuff where you can like download old games? Like Nintendo Switch Online, you could download whatever. People have been calling for Nintendo to add older Pokemon games. So hopefully sometime in the future you'll be able to get that. Yeah,
I mean, I'll be fine with it. If it's on my Switch, I can just lay in bed. I'm playing Pokemon. I'm here for it. The new ones I'm here for it. That's what I want. But yeah, Pokemon is a life changer, and the amount of money and stuff that's in this.
Oh my gosh, well, did you see like the merchandise is insane? Their merchandise sales are off the charts compared to every other. Yeah, they make money more on merchandise than they do on like actual video games.
It's crazy merchandise sales. Yeah, Pokemon is it's
a
the
big
fact
one.
that it's so relevant is
I know, it's pretty wild. It's lasted. But yeah, and then I was thinking the next real console that I played a lot of was the Wii. Did you have a Wii? Did you use the Wii a lot?
So I didn't have the Wii. I played the Wii at other people's houses. So I didn't have a GameCube.
That's fair.
I didn't have a GameCube and I didn't have a Wii, but I played it at other people's houses a decent amount when I wanted to go over there.
Yeah. But yeah, I played a lot of Wii. Wii Sports, my jam, dude.
Yep.
I tried to get pro in like every sport, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I played 2K 2009. How did they say it before? Was it 2K09 baseball? Like, how did they do the...
I think it just did 09, yeah.
Okay.
Just like 23 or 22. It's like just 09.
Gotcha. So yeah, I played that. What else did I play on the Wii? I can't remember much, honestly. Oh, Mario Kart. So much Mario Kart on the Wii.
Yeah.
An insane amount.
Did you have the steering wheel where you put the controller into the steering wheel? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It did help kind of, but the Switch... Some of that stuff would get frustrating though when you had to like turn the controller and let's say like you're like turn and it just wouldn't turn. But yeah, Mario Kart. When you play Mario Kart, the big thing that we played a lot of Mario Kart on the N64. That's not even that's not even the original Mario Kart. I don't think. I don't think that's the first Mario Kart.
Really?
That was kind of was a big game. We used to love playing you ever do the battles where you have 3 balloons?
Yes.
We were
I've definitely done that.
battle junkies, and that one, it was so much fun. And the issue of it was always, how good could you screen peek to know where the other person was to get behind them?
Yeah.
Yep. Screen peeking and then being able to use the green shells and just like being a sniper from distance. Like that was the big deal of Mario Kart and Smash Bros on the N64 as well. I have my N64 here actually. So if you ever want to throw in some N64 games,
that would be crazy. I never really played them. So like, I don't really have the nostalgia for them, but I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to play them.
I think you would enjoy Mario Kart because the levels and it's the same game. It's just a different controller.
Yeah.
It's the same game, different controller. And then Smash Bros. You may not enjoy as much. Have you played Smash
Melee?
Bros? Yeah.
I've always wanted to try it.
Yeah, we should definitely do it. So
I don't play a lot of Smash though, so like I wouldn't be good, but like I want to try it.
It's the older one, the N64 one. It's just simpler. It's more just kind of dumbed down, and there's not as much animation nonsense going on. So it actually kind of makes it
probably easier to track and stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to track. There's less characters, so you can kind of just fine tune into like using. A great example is newbies to the game. You just play with Kirby because he can fly pretty easily, and Kirby on that one is just better than on the other ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could definitely load that up. But Smash Bros. I have a couple of my friends that one of them, for example, AC, he plays Pikachu. He was so good. If he made contact with you one time, you're gone. That was it. Game over. There's no way. There was like I didn't know how to get out of it. And I wasn't a bad Smash player. You gotta learn
all the guards or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, we could throw that in. But Smash Bros. Is a lot of fun. But I never played. Yeah, I never played Mario Party. I didn't play Mario Party until Game Boy Advance came out. And Mario Party is a lot of fun on the Switch. We played that a couple of times.
Yeah,
Mario Party.
It is fun. Yeah, when you sent me like we were going to talk about video games and stuff, I was trying to think back to like all my video game experiences, and I realized I've had a lot of consoles. I didn't really think about it until this moment, but just like the Game Boy, I had my DS. Do you have a DS?
Nope.
Yeah, and then I had the Wii, Xbox 360, and I almost had another Xbox One, and then now I have my PC, which is basically a console.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of crazy.
It's funny you're telling me about the PlayStation the other day. So for the PlayStation 5, every year when PlayStation came out, so my brother and I didn't have a PlayStation 1, but we played it at our neighbor's house a little bit. We had a PlayStation 2 and 3 and 4. And when those came out, we got them in store. We got them immediately, like the first week they came out. Like that was the shtick. And I feel like, and then when the 5 came out, I didn't get my PlayStation 5 until, I don't know, 6 months ago because it was impossible to get. And you were telling me the story the other day about how you saw it in store. It made you upset.
I saw 2 of them in store, and they were like the God of War one, the new God of War. So they were all bundled or whatever.
Did you like walk past it and then see it and then just like stop in your tracks? And
yes.
Like, what is that unicorn?
No, honestly, every time I walk into like a Best Buy, Walmart, or Target, I always make a little pass by the PlayStation section just to see if they have any. And they had 2 in stock at Target. I was like, oh, okay, that's crazy. And I sat there contemplating whether I should buy it or not. And then I looked them up on eBay, and there are people selling it for retail price on eBay now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, well, the bare minimum, I could turn it for a profit. And I can't do that anymore. And then I was talking to my friend who works at Best Buy, and he said that there's a lot of, like, they're coming in stock now. They got a big shipment of them. And so I guess whatever supply issues they had are gone. Or they're like, oh, it's 2 years later now. Let's just sell them. People will buy them.
Yeah. It's, and when you say God of War, I got my PlayStation. I had a bundle with Horizon. That's the only one I get. And when we got it, Lauren saw something and then she signed up for it. My brother told me about it, where you get an email when they're back in stock. And I was coaching, and Lauren texted me. She's like, oh, I have the chance to sit here and like go into the thing. I mean, we finally got it. It was a whole ordeal. And it was like, we finally got one. And I've been playing God of War recently, and obviously don't play this game if you're not of age. But when you get of age, and if you're a video game player, and I'm almost to the end of it, and I'm kind of sad that I've almost beaten it. God of War as a game, and now there's this whole argument of what's a better game or more of a pronounced crazy game. Is it God of War or Elden Ring? God of War, I've played so many video games in my life, is the new one. Ragnarok is got to be one of the best games of all time. And it's like, when I say it's one of the best games of all time, I'm saying on so many levels, and just like you sit there and I'm playing that game and I'm just like, the side missions, there's almost like a whole other world that's not, that's a completely, it's unbelievable how good this game is. And I'm just like, if you are of age and you really love video games, you get a PlayStation or PC and you want to play something that you can just get lost in and spend tons of hours on, Ragnarok is it. And I'm kind of sad that I'm going to beat it here soon, this weekend probably, but
wow,
it's a great game.
That is sad. That's always a sad moment when you beat a video game that you've invested a lot of time in. Like recently I beat Shadow of War. It's like a Lord of the Rings game.
Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, Mordor. And then War is the second one. Yeah, you did get me there.
I didn't even know there was a second one.
Yeah, there's a second one because Shadow of Mordor, it leads right into Shadow of War. And it's a straight sequel or a straight prequel to Shadow of War. But anyways, when I beat it, I went, oh, that's it. It's over. It was so sad.
Well, sometimes games have, and I don't think this God of War does have it. I know other ones have had it, and Ratchet and Clank has it, which Ratchet and Clank is art. Like that's a user-friendly game for anyone. Great game. Those games are a blast. The new one is, I've beaten it twice already, but like Ratchet and Clank, after you beat it, you can do kind of a plus mode where you keep everything that you have, you play through the game again, but you upgrade it to like another level, and you can increase the difficulty of the enemies. So it's kind of a different experience, and I think that's nice when a game does that. But apparently I don't think God of War did that on Ragnarok, but they might implement it on the back end, because now games can have software updates and change some of the parts about it. So we'll see.
Interesting. But yeah, finishing a video game, I'm still on that. Finishing a video game is just so sad and satisfying at the same time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you can always go back and I guess play it again. We've played. Lauren and I have played. You and Aaron have to play this. You've got. I don't know.
Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
I just bought it. So now me and Aaron will play it.
My brother, I tried to convince him to play it. And he finally started playing it. He's like, "It's so much fun." I was like, "Yeah, it's a great." And then once you beat it once, you just switch which character you play, and then you get to.
Oh yeah.
It's a cheap. It's not even. I don't know how expensive it is now, but it was originally when it came out, it's $40. And
well, it was 40, and the reason I bought it, the reason I went ahead and just bought it, is because it was 15. It was on sale for 15.
There you go. So, yeah, $15 for a game that you're going to spend 20. You can again. I guarantee you'll want to play it at least twice. Lauren and I have almost beat it 3 times. We just like, all right, let's go back and play, because it's so much fun.
I've played like half of a level before, because my friend was telling me the same thing. They're like, you gotta play. It's super fun. And we played about half a level, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely really, really cool, really fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then we've been playing Overcooked, and that game.
Oh my god, dude!
There's so many of them, but you really have to make sure you have to be patient with each other, because they can.
I will explode every time I play that game, no matter what.
Well,
and it's not out of anger; it's just out of like built anxiety and like heightened pressure, I guess.
Yeah,
I just explode. And it's always fun, though. It's super fun, and it's super funny to play with people.
Yeah. Well, we played with 4 of us, and that makes it way easier, but then also way more chaotic.
Yeah, yep. That's what I was just about to say. It's might be too many. 3 might be the perfect number.
It's like, your job is to chop and do the dishes. Just do that. Quit moving. You're in my way. Why are you like? That's how it goes into. Well, Lauren and I, when we played this past weekend, on some of the levels, the time doesn't start until you start. I think you start putting out dishes. So we sit there and we're like, all right, you're going to do this, this, and this. And the whole prep and figuring out where everything is on the level and figuring out what each person's task is in the beginning really does help. Because if you just like the game comes on, the level comes
just
on,
load in.
And, all right, go. There's no way you're going to get a 3-star. It's just not going to happen.
No, not even a little bit.
There's no way to make it a 3-star on that. But yeah, those are the games we've been playing lately. There's God of War, and then I haven't gone back and played any Overwatch recently. Eventually, I'll get back to it. But one of the new games coming out that I am really excited about is it's been pushed back several times, but the new Harry Potter is coming out.
Oh my gosh, it's called
soon.
like Hogwarts
Legacy.
What is it called? Yeah, Legacy. That's right. It's Hogwarts Legacy.
Let's see.
I saw it on Steam. They just put it up there, and I'm like gonna insta buy it.
Oof,
it just
February.
February 10th. I think.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I just looked at February 10th. So I've got to beat God of War. So when that comes out, Lauren and I are going to be fighting for the PlayStation to play this. I feel like.
Yeah,
I mean, amazing.
It looks really good, and I hope it lives up to that level of quality. Because man, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it looks really good. No, I'll be getting. I have gift cards already ready to go get this thing. So I might as well just go ahead and pre-order it from Best Buy, to be honest, and then go pick it up immediately. Yeah, I'm stoked. It's going to be really fun.
So you've been saying all episode that you're a PlayStation person. I grew up an Xbox person. Is there any preference, any reason why you chose PlayStation in the first place? And do you just stick with it now because you've always played PlayStation?
So I have an older brother, and I don't know why we initially got into having PlayStation as like the first thing that we got. It's just what we've always done and always had. Exclusive games on PlayStation, like Uncharted or God of War or Metal Gear Solid, those games always kind of were our favorites. So we knew they were can continue. So it's always like, all right, PlayStation. And all my friends always had Xbox, so I never could really play with them. So, but we just kept always getting PlayStations because of the exclusive games.
Yeah. Yeah, because for me, the reason I got an Xbox was because all my friends had an Xbox. And so I always want to talk with them and play whatever game with them.
Yeah, all my friends in high school, they all had Xboxes. My neighbor had PlayStation, so we play with him. And there's the exclusive games on there. And my brother ended up actually buying an Xbox 360 later on when it had been out for several years because we just wanted to play Halo. So he literally had an Xbox, and I think the only game we had on it was Halo and never any other game. Just because I love that game.
That's funny.
It was Halo. It wasn't even it wasn't like Halo 3. I did play Halo 3 at my friend's house.
Halo Reach or something?
It was Reach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still a fun game. There's still a Halo, man. Go back in those days.
But yeah, I think it's funny why you pick certain consoles. Because now looking back, I would have picked a PlayStation because of the exclusives, like you said. I think they just have better games overall compared to the Xbox. But yeah, I'm glad I picked it then, I guess, because I got to talk with my friends. I played a lot of Minecraft on Xbox.
I was going to literally say this. We need to finish this off with one thing and one thing only, and it's got to be either Fortnite or Minecraft, and it's not going to be Fortnite because Fortnite failed us all. Failed us all.
I hate Fortnite.
I used to love it. It was. I was obsessed with it. And when the seasons were good, I just it was like an addiction to playing this game, and I love Fortnite so much. So we're not even going to give it the time of day. We're going to go with Minecraft, which Minecraft, guess what, Cole? And you probably know the answer to this. I've never played Minecraft.
Oh. Just like, that is such an unacceptable statement to me. Like, of anything that you've ever... No, it's not free.
Okay.
No,
I'm
it's not free. Oh my God. Of everything you've ever told me about you, that has to be my least favorite thing about you. Like, enough. Bottom of the barrel.
That's fair.
Bottom of the barrel, dude. Never played Minecraft. Oh my gosh.
I have not.
There's nothing I can say. It's just, it is the quintessential game ever. I don't know. It's like the highest grossing game. It's the most played, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what else to tell you.
The other thing about Minecraft is it's kind of like Reddit. I don't get it.
Oh my gosh. You don't get it until you've like experienced it and done it and kind of figure it out, you know?
r/Minecraft subreddit.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be a wasteland for you because it's just a bunch of like, look at this thing I built. Hey, I have a question about this. And you're going to be like, I guess. Cool.
Of all the games the amount of games that I have played, and I have never played Minecraft. I mean, I played Toontown more than we played Minecraft.
Oh my gosh, dude.
If you know about Toontown, you know about Toontown. If you don't know about Toontown. That should be the quote of Toontown. It's like Fight Club. If you know about Toontown, you know about it.
It is kind of like Fight Club.
Yeah.
It is kind of exactly like Fight Club. I would agree with that.
It's a Disney game.
Dude, I just, it's kind of unbelievable. I can't get over it. Let's just end it here before I get too angry because Brandon needs to play Minecraft.
Maybe I will. Well, maybe
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'll play Minecraft if you watch Black Adam, or I'll play Minecraft if we can whip out the N64 and play some games. That'd be a lot of fun. We can do it for
10,000 subscribers. That's when he's going to play Minecraft. All right,
dude.
Make it
that
happen.
Could be it. That could be it. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if people want to watch me play Minecraft. Yeah, hit the subscribe button.
Come on.
And if you don't know, we have a YouTube. We're on YouTube as well. If you didn't listen to one of the New Year's episode that we previously came out with, something new that we're doing to the podcast this year or this season, whatever you want to call it, is Lauren and I are going to go to a different restaurant once a month, a different restaurant that we never tried before, or something that we really enjoy, and we're going to do a review on it. Simply going through different categories and ranking it from 1 to 10, talking about the food, and kind of giving an overall score as far as our experience is, and is if that restaurant is worth it as far as price point and everything that is involved. And the first restaurant that we're going to review in this episode, in the first month of doing this, is a pretty famous restaurant in Louisville. There's several locations. It is Jeff Ruby's.
Usually the first thing you notice when you walk into a restaurant is the ambience, but when we were seated at our table from that moment on, it was like there was the perfect mixture of people being attentive and asking us if we need anything, and also leaving us be so we could talk and enjoy food and drinks and all that. I've never had my water glass filled so many times. I don't think it got below halfway, like empty. It was incredible.
Yeah. I was chugging water, and just the amount of times that the person, it wasn't the waitress that was filling up the glasses for the most part. They had just like a designated person to come by and fill up.
People coming by with like water jugs. Well, because you went to the bathroom shortly after we got there, and then our first server came up and filled water. I said, "Can I get you?" Or he asked what kind of water we wanted and if there's anything else that he could get us. And he said, "My name's so and so. I'll be taking care of you tonight." And then our main waitress came over and she introduced herself and then the other 3 people who'd be taking care of us. So it was like a team of people that were helping with taking orders, filling drinks, bringing out food, clearing the table. So it was like a team effort, which I've never been to a restaurant that has a team of people doing something like that.
Well, that's when it comes to going to some place like Jeff Ruby's that has such a renowned name and known really well and has a high reputation. It was well warranted as far as what the service was. And I think it's the easiest way to start this review is because I would give that service out of 10, just 10 out of 10. I don't know what more I would want from a service. And it was so well done that it was almost like an art form and it was very, very noticeable. So what do you give service at Jeff Ruby's? Did you also give it a 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal. I love going out to eat and I love the dining experience, but something that definitely bothers me is having over attentive waiters who come up to you every 5 minutes and talk and ask you, do you need anything? Do you need anything? Do you need anything? And so that kind of bothers me because I don't know, I just enjoy sitting back, talking, enjoying my drink, my food. So the fact that half the time when someone was coming up to our table, they were just filling our water glasses and leaving. So I was just like, oh, thank you. And then that was it. That was the interaction. Yeah. So I got because I don't know if it's an antisocial thing when I'm out to use, I don't want to have to constantly answer questions. So.
No, it was, it's definitely 10 out of 10.
As that sounds, I do enjoy being left alone for a little bit.
10 out of 10 for service.
Love it.
Location.
I say we go straight into ambiance because that was also something that kind of just creates the feel of being there and the actual experience itself.
I didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Jeff Ruby's is kind of pretty well known, and we're talking about the Louisville location. If you're listening, and it's in Louisville location. We haven't been in any other ones yet. Eventually, we should try the one in Lexington. I believe. I think Heather recommended us to try the one in Lexington. But as far as ambiance, to compare it to other stuff and to give it a number for me, I don't know if I could give it a
10, but it's definitely got to be high. I think I would give it a 9 because I feel like I haven't been to enough really fine dining restaurants to have a comparison. So I think as far as ambiance and the feel of the restaurants is very unique. So I'll give it a 9.
To explain in more detail about the actual ambiance itself.
Yeah, you'll do a lot better than me.
It's,
there was a lot of bright colors. I don't know. Go for it.
It's darker in there. But there's colored lights, so it's kind of like mood lighting. There's pink, blue, I think maybe a little red. So it felt not like you
prestigious,
not like you were in a club, but it was more fun. And then colored lighting also does create a mood. And then we ended up sitting at like a high top table, and they were decently spread out, so I really couldn't hear any conversations of people around us, but I could hear the chatter. I mean, it was a busy place, and we went on a Sunday night, so Jeff Ruby's is always popping, and I could hear chatter and people talking and the music, but I couldn't actually pick apart what people were saying, and I could hear you pretty well, so it felt like you were kind of under the cover of noise where you could talk about anything. You didn't feel like people were, listening in. It wasn't super quiet to where you felt like you had to whisper, that you don't like feels awkward making noise.
I didn't really think about that, but that's very true. Now you say that, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And the music was great. It wasn't too loud. It was just, it kind of fit the environment, which felt like, I don't know, it felt like an exclusive club, and it had lots of leather, and it was just nice, but then also the way that the servers interacted with you, and just, I guess, like even the other patrons around there, it didn't feel stuffy. It didn't feel like you had to sit a certain way, put your napkin in a certain place, you couldn't put your elbows on the table. So it felt like fine dining, but casual. So it felt more relaxed. You didn't feel like you were going to make an error or mistake, and you could actually get kind of cozy and relax.
I have nothing else to add to that, and I agree with everything that you said. So in hindsight of all of that and great detail, what is your score?
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay, we will both go with 9s. Yeah, I agree. The 9, just because I feel like there's other locations or other restaurants we've been to that maybe there might be I don't know. I think there's just maybe a little bit of room somewhere that we don't know about, maybe, that we'd give it a 10. So I think a 9 is a pretty appropriate. Not that it's bad. It's still a 9. It's still a good rating. We enjoyed it. It's a cool place for sure.
Yeah, even the bathrooms were cool. I'd say the only thing that really kicked it down from a 10 to a 9 is I don't love sitting at high tops.
I was going to say the same exact thing when you said the high top.
So, and I know it helps save some space, and so they can get more people in there. And I'm not sure how they designate you to a booth or a high top, but I'm assuming it's party size, and also that maybe you have to call way in advance. I mean,
moving on to location. So when I look at location for a restaurant, for me, it's not that I'm picky, but I am a stickler when it comes to parking. I don't like to have anxiety knowing when I'm going to have to park, or attempting to parallel park, or having to be into a situation where I'm having to find a parking spot. It is downtown in Louisville, so you're probably not going to be parking on the side of the street, which we do not. But conveniently enough, there's always a parking garage that we know we need to go into. Now, it's going to cost a little bit of money, and they also have valet parking, which I don't know if it's free or not, but we didn't try it because
I think it was like $10 is what we saw on the sign.
Which, in that situation, in hindsight, when we go back, I think we'll definitely just do the valet, just because it's probably about the same cost as doing the parking garage plus the tip, so it'd be a little bit extra. But it's not like we're going to be going to Jeff Ruby's every other month because it is expensive. But yeah, I would say location wise for me, downtown, just being picky. Not that it's a bad location, or just in comparison to where we are, not getting too much into detail, I would give it, and this might be a little low and it might upset you, but I'm going to give it a 7. I just don't like having to do parking garages. I wish I like when we went to Jack Fry's yesterday, they have a designated parking spot that only that people that go to Jeff Ruby's or Jack Fry's can go there. And it's just like, park, you're there. That is, for fine dining, I wish that was it as much as. So I'm going to give it a 7.
I I know you hate going downtown. I don't mind it as much, but I also have that same sort of parking anxiety of like, are we going to be in a parking garage? Is there a lot? Is the lot going to be full? And then I'm going to have to double back and go around another block or two. So I don't love that either, but there is something fun about going downtown because we aren't there a lot. So it's like it does feel like nicer. It's more of an adventure. It's just like a different feel, but yeah, I much prefer not having to worry if we're going to find a parking spot or be late because we're circling around or having to walk down 5 flights of stairs from a parking garage. So, and I think like when we went, it was spitting rain, it was really cold, and we parked on a parking garage on the opposite side of the block that it was on. And the walk in there was kind of
being so
rain.
picky.
I know.
I know, but it's part of the experience. It is.
And who knows? There may have been a parking garage at a closer location, but the way that GPS was taking us, it seemed like we couldn't get around to the actual entrance of Jeff Ruby's.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating. But yeah, I'd say I'll give it a 7 too. I don't love.
We're just saying exactly the same thing. We have a very similar opinions on a lot of stuff, though, I think, and it's definitely going to change when we get into the food, which is probably what a lot of people want to hear about. Anyways, wow, what's the food like?
Yeah.
And the first thing is the bread, because it's the first. We're just going to go into order of what it was brought out. Is odd enough that it is to review the bread that's free they bring out. I think it's important to a lot of people. As far as a number goes for me, I'm just going to say it before I even explain it. Their bread, I'm going to give it a 6.
I am going to give their bread an 8 because I love sourdough. I love sourdough, and I just love bread in general. I love fresh baked bread. I've loved baking bread at home. And so their sourdough had the perfect amount of crispy crunchiness on the outside, and the inside was dense, spongy, like very warm, perfectly cooked bread. And I love that. And then it was served with a square of butter that was half salted butter and half truffle mushroom butter. And oh my God, it was good. So you could like take a little bit of each, or you could just take the truffle butter thing, or just the salted butter, and then it was just so good. I really liked it.
Yeah, the only reason I give it a 6, it wasn't bad. It was definitely good. Like I was like, yeah, if it was like, all right, you had the option of not having the bread or having the bread, I'm going to take the bread. Like I'm going to take the bread. But I'm giving it a 6 because when I think of a 10 out of 10 bread for me pre-meal, I just like a little bit more to it maybe. And this is maybe going to sound really bad.
So that bread was thick. Are you talking about like flavors on it? Or
yes.
Well, I don't think you like sourdough as much as I do. I think you like a normal
I appreciate it.
bread.
I appreciate it, but I mean, I guess the highest ranking bread that comes to the forefront of my mind when it comes to restaurants, and this is going to sound terrible and maybe completely like just like it's not going to justify anything that I'm saying later on in the review here, but like Charlie's rolls, like that's what I'm here for.
Just like sweet rolls.
I don't know.
No.
I just really like them. That's the pinnacle for me. All right, moving on. Past the bread. It was good. It was good. Sourdough. It was simple. It was good.
So
I enjoyed it.
Southern of you.
I know. I'm sorry. Okay, so we got 2 appetizers, or two appetizers that we split essentially.
Yeah.
And
or no, we only got 1.
Yes, we got 2. We got the mac and cheese and the Brussels. Those
2
are
sides. Those are not appetizers.
Oh, I forgot about the crab cake. Okay, back it up. The appetizer. How did I forget about the crab cake? Okay.
I don't know, but the sides are the sides are the Brussels sprouts and macaroni.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. I don't know how to eat. I don't know what these words are. Okay, the crab cake, appetizer. Got it, split it. For the rest, I'm just gonna do numbers at the beginning and then explain how I thought about it. 10 out of 10 crab cake. My favorite crab cake I've ever had. Could there be a better one from a restaurant with locally sourced crab in a nearer location up in northern states? Maybe. But as far as a crab cake for me, lumps of crab had a bite to it because of the red onion and the carrot, the size of it, the crispiness on the outside, the texture, whatever was in the outside of the bowl or the plate that had like the sauce with it. Crab cake, 10 out of 10. Definitely my favorite crab cake I've ever had. And I know we're slinging out 10s here, but it's good. It's
I
crab cake.
like that you said, well, I'm going to give you my number first, and then I'm going to explain what I liked about it. You did the exact opposite.
10.
10.
10 crab cake.
Yeah, I would say so. I know I said I wasn't going to do halves here, but I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Okay.
Only because I wish there had been more sauce like available on the plate to put like on it, because there was 2 different sauces. One was like a green sauce that, what did I say? It like tasted like.
I don't know. So I can't remember. It was like some kind of remoulade.
It tasted like celery to me. It was kind of like a celery reduction. But then there was like that creamy sauce that was like had a little kick to it. That was really good. But I loved it. The amount of crab to actual like breading or filling in there, the ratio was perfect. The crab wasn't like hard chunks of crab. It felt like it just like pulled apart, almost like a pulled pork sandwich is what I would like compare it to. But the crispiness on the outside, it just fell apart easily. I loved the crunch of the raw red onion and the carrots in it. It was just delicious. So 9.5 out of 10 for me.
9.5 and a 10. Good, it's still good numbers though. I mean, it's a crab cake. Okay, to the non-appetizers, but the sides that we got and we split, and it seemed like an appetizer. The first one, mac and cheese.
So good.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, number first. 9. The reason I give it a 9, I'm not a big mac and cheese person. I could care less about it. It's just, for me, I like multitude of, I want meat if I'm having like noodles. Like a pasta, I want meat in it. I want different umami and cheesy and crunchy, and I want the dynamic of it. That's why I would choose a burger over a steak. There's more to it, I think. And I give it a 9 because I don't think mac and cheese could ever be a 10. But in hindsight of that, my favorite mac and cheese I've potentially ever had, because I'd also have to compare it to the mac and cheese you make in the same setting, but it was really, really good. 6 different cheeses, really good mac and cheese. 9.
I like this better than my mac and cheese, and I actually think that I'm going to try to recreate it, just because so the one that I make, it has 5 different cheeses, and one of them's Velveeta, and I don't love Velveeta. Kind of freaks me out.
Hold on. I have to go into it because, sorry, and then I don't want to cut you off, but this is a perfect point to put this in. The other day, I don't know how this got brought up. Oh, I was talking to an athlete, and it's just sometimes randomly to spark up a conversation in like a one-on-one or a small group setting. I'll say, well, what's your favorite food? And she said mac and cheese. And I got into this whole thing where I looked up Velveeta. I don't know why. And on the box, you know that Velveeta doesn't say that's a cheese.
Yeah, it's a processed cheese product.
It's a cheese-like product, and the FDA made them do that because of what it's made. That's insane to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up. But yes, Velveeta, it's not actually cheese.
Yeah, and the recipe's from Patti LaBelle, and it is so good. But yeah, and it's also, I don't know, the mixture of cheeses. I've played with the cheese mix, but the Jeff Ruby's cheese mix is very sharp, bright cheeses, and so it is a very like punchy sauce that they use, and it's just so good. I love it. And there's no graininess to the texture of the cheese sauce. There's no chunks of cheese, which I don't really like in macaroni. If I have a chunk of cheese, it feels like it's getting too heavy, which is what the Velveeta can kind of do. So 10 out of 10. That is my favorite.
So many 10s.
I'm going to have to try to recreate that. Because I asked the waitress, I was like, that macaroni was so good. What are the cheeses? And so she sat there and listed the cheeses for us. So I'll have to play around with that.
Yeah. As our first review, I know Jeff Ruby's, there's so many 10 out of 10s on here, but it was good. Like I really enjoyed it. It's meets up to the hype. All right. One last non-appetizer that is a side that I think is an appetizer. The Brussels sprouts. Number, me. Sorry, 5.
I know you're not a Brussels boy.
It's not so much that I'm not a Brussels. Usually Brussels for me, I like just like a bacon and salty kind of sauteed in that sense with maybe some kind of sweet sauce on it. The Brussels there, they just seemed to look. It was like a honey. It just seemed too.
That's exactly what it was.
But
It was
okay,
maple
hold on.
syrup. It was maple
Okay.
syrup.
Okay, well,
And-
hold on. No, hold on. Yeah, sorry. I keep cutting you off, but I just can't. I just have these strong thoughts that I have to throw at you. Because you'll talk about the bacon. I don't like bacon and the flavor of maple on top of each other. And I think that's what it was. That and then it made it soggy. So it's just like, I don't like that flavor combination, which just seems weird. And then you can talk about the bacon being the pork belly or whatever. Sorry.
My only, like, well, I guess I have two. I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
Brussels are a 7 for me because of two things. The first is I tend to like my Brussels sprouts not cooked to the point where they're falling apart or too mushy. And I do think that they were just slightly on the mushy side. There was still some bite to them and a little bit of crunch, but it was still just a little bit too mushy. And then the second thing was the bacon, or these thick chunks of bacon that I guess they could even be pork belly. I'm not sure, but it's called like Newski's bacon. So I'm guessing it's a certain farm that they get it from, or butcher. And they're delicious and they're super smoky, but there wasn't enough of them to go around. So you really only got, if I took 10 bites of Brussels sprouts, I maybe got bacon in maybe 3 of them. So that was my only qualm. I did not think, however, that the maple was super pungent or mapley. I just thought it was sweet. I didn't think it tasted like syrup to me. I think it was just sweeter.
Yeah, sorry. I was looking up the menu, so I wanted to go back and reference a couple of things potentially here. So, and I know when we get to the burger, there was something that's what I was looking up. Yeah, the Brussels sprouts for me, I'll give it a 5. I've had better Brussels. I didn't like the sogginess about them. Okay, take over on your steak. So we got 2 more things left here. Well, I guess technically 3. Go for your steak. What did you give your steak?
Well,
the steak
I
we
got
kinda
a
split.
filet mignon because if I'm going to go to a steakhouse, I'm going to get a steak. And I, very basic, and bloody things scare me. So I always order my fillets medium well, but I'm slowly working my way down to medium. And if they know what they're doing, they usually ask, or they just go ahead and butterfly your fillet, and so then everything cooks evenly and they don't have to like microwave it. So the steaks that they prepared have seasoning on them. It's not just like butter and like garlic cloves. And I love the seasoning. It does have like a little kick to it. They cooked it perfectly. I actually think that they cooked it to medium, and I didn't care. I ate it anyway, and it was delicious. That cut of meat is the most tender filet I've ever had. I mean, it was just butter. It was great. So I would give that steak a 9.
Really?
Only because, so here's the thing. My favorite way to eat a steak is lots of butter when you're cooking it in like a cast iron or something, with garlic cloves in there, so it's getting a little garlic on it. So that's the way that we cook them at home, and I just think that's delicious. So if we were to get their cuts of meat and then cook it our way, that would be like 10 out of 10 steak for me.
10 out of 10 steak. Steak for me. It was a lot of times when we go out to eat, we'll order something. We don't necessarily split the meals, but we'll definitely take a couple of bites of each of. I had like 2 bites of your steak. So steak for me, I'm gonna give it an 8. I wouldn't quite give it a 9. I'm kind of the same way as in your sense. I like him to be. I don't know if I need all the extra seasoning and stuff on it. Not that I don't mind it. There's a good cut of steak. I almost, with my fillets, I know they butterflied it because it was so big. I almost prefer a fillet to actually be a little bit thicker when it's cooked. So, but I don't mind my steak being a little bit less cooked than you do. So it's that in between. So I'll give that steak an 8 out of 10.
I also want to point out that I think I've discovered why you're like not a macaroni person, or you're not a steak person.
In this moment of us doing this clip,
I think you like having all of your ingredients together in one. You don't like having like steak, side item, Whereas like I can have like bites of my steak and then bites of the side or bites of this, because then you're like, well, I need meat in my pasta. Well, then that's like a whole entire like dish in itself. It's like one combined thing. You like burritos. You love burritos because everything's in one little wrap. You like sandwiches because there's everything's on in between two pieces of bread.
Well,
But sometimes I like sometimes it's nice to have like separate things and they have different flavors and you could take little pieces of all of them.
It's yes and no. It's definitely yes. Yeah, that's 100% yes. But I like a good steak, but I choose and prefer a burger because I like all of to basically romantically meet together to make this one unit of flavor and texture.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like as far as this burger goes. So I'll go into my burger now. Had garlic aioli, had cheese on it, had bacon.
Was there garlic aioli on it?
Yes, because I just looked it up because that was the reason I was looking at the burger. So as far as the burger,
mayo. I didn't get too much. Well, I only had one bite of your burger, but I didn't like taste it. It wasn't super garlicky.
Yeah. So, and the garlic aioli was really good, by the way. It was a 8-ounce prime patty, Newski's bacon, American cheese, lettuce, tomato, onion, and garlic aioli. As far as burger goes, I would give it a 9 out of 10. It's in probably the top 5 of my favorite burgers I've ever had in my life when it comes to a fancy restaurant. The garlic aioli was really good. The bun was really good. The bacon that would definitely take a point off. I almost knocked it down to an 8 because the bacon, I'm very picky about my bacon in a burger. It can't have the ribby part and then like I bite it and I tear. Like that drives I can't stand that.
It can't be super crispy and it can't be stringy. You know, it's gotta be chewy. It has to have a chew to it that you can pull apart and you're not pulling on fat.
Yeah, and it had it. It was just that whatever that bacon, I think they need to change up their bacon. Whatever they're doing, whoever's cutting it, I'm sorry, but that's one of the big knocks down. It's not that
they cook it a little bit more.
Just throw it in the oven. It's so easy to do the oven bacon and render it down because it had that chewy. I almost knocked it down to an 8 because of that, but everything else was so good and was so well done. The brioche bun and the cheese and the garlic aioli was really good, and the caramelized onions, and I gave it a 9.
I think also like I took a bite of it. I was like that is a burger. Like that is the most simple like rendition of a burger, but elevated with excellent meat, a great bun, perfect proportions for like bun, cheese, meat, toppings, all of that. So, I mean, there's nothing crazy, no crazy flavors on there at all. It was simple, done very, very well. I know we lost our favorite burger place a couple years back, and recently we've had burgers that have beat what we thought was our favorite burger. One was that one from Repeal, and then this one I think was also incredible. Where would you put that one in comparison to Repeal's?
So I mean, I basically have in my mind, I ping around, I guess, 3 different burgers at fancy restaurants or nicer restaurants that I really enjoy. So Repeal, Jack Fry's, and Jeff Ruby's. I think it's kind of difficult because I would almost need to eat them in the same setting. So I guess we're going to travel to all 3 of these for content, and I'm going to eat all 3 of them in one setting. We can split it. That would be really fun.
Oh,
but
I'm sure Cole. I mean, we can split those burgers into fourths. Aaron and Cole.
All right, everyone go to a different restaurant.
Burger. I know we said we wanted to do like a burger comparison one. Let's do fancy burger.
I mean, you know what? I think that's a perfect idea because they're not that expensive. The nice thing about the burger,
they're really not. I think all of them are under $20.
Yeah, the Jeff Ruby's was 22, Jack Fry's was like 18, and Repeal's like 20 or something. But I think if I had to give you an answer of those 3 to put them in an order, I think Repeal still wins. The second, I don't know. Repeal was so good, and we'll definitely do a review on Repeal later on.
Well, we're going in February.
So I would give Repeal number 1, and then between Jack Fry's and Jeff Ruby's, I don't know. Like you said, the burger from Jeff Ruby's was very much like this is a burger. There's nothing super unique about the flavors, but it was just like burger, and it was like the perfection of it. Besides the bacon, but I gave it a 9. What did you give it?
I'd say I'd give it an 8.5 because I also like the Repeal burger better, which I think the Repeal burger was also a very like classic burger, but I like the wood fired burger flavor that I had.
The Repeal burger, I can't wait to eat that again. So good.
Yeah.
2 last things, wrap it up. We'll do the overall score.
Oh, wait, your
Fries.
fries. Oh yeah, okay. I was
Well,
gonna
I'm
say,
trying
yes.
fries. There's an honorable mention that we probably shouldn't. We're not going to put in the overall, but I'm going to talk about it because I really have to talk about it. But the fries. So I got truffle fries, not garlic aioli fries. We went to Jack Fry's last night. We're being really fancy this month. We got a bunch of gift cards. Okay, we got a bunch of gift cards that we're utilizing as
Because
far
the
as
people we love know we like to eat.
and Jack Fry's. Not. I'm going to give a number. Fries.
Jack fries.
No. Jeff Ruby's. I was going to talk about Jack Fries, but I want to give a number first on the fries from Jeff Ruby's. Jeff Ruby's fries. I am going to give them a 9.
I, at this point, don't remember the fries that
Mm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
I know they were good.
They're good.
They were very crispy. I like
Mhm.
crispy fries.
Uniform
They weren't
crispy.
too big. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So there was the truffle fries.
Mhm.
I know so many people are like, oh, if you're getting like truffle fries like that, it's just truffle oil, which is super pungent and
It wasn't.
overpowering. But it wasn't. They didn't.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if they just didn't use a ton or how they did them, but it was very minimally truffly and perfectly salted. And then you had the what was it? The
Parmesan.
garlic
Which-
No, it was well, they put Parmesan on top, but the dipping sauce was a garlic malt vinegar. I
So
think that's
good.
what you said. Aioli,
Mhm.
garlic malt vinegar.
Malt
and
vinegar aioli. Yes, you got
Oh,
it.
so good. It was like garlic. It was a little bit garlicky, but it had that zing that vinegar gives. So I'd say, I think I'd give those a 9 too.
Alrighty, 9. And then, so I'm going to add up all this stuff and we'll come back to it. But I have to give an honorable mention. We're not going to put this in the overall score. I'm a pickle person. I like pickles. I like trying different pickles. The pickles from this restaurant, I don't know if they make them. I don't know where they got them from. Without a doubt, no contention whatsoever, but besides maybe Jack Fry's, best pickles ever. Lauren, nicely enough, asked the waitress, can you put some in the to-go bag? And I had more the next day. And in my mind, as I'm eating these pickles, I'm like, these are the best pickles ever.
I know, you texted me while you're eating them and you said these pickles are just so good.
I love pickles, and they were just the best, without a doubt, best pickles. So if you want to experience a pickle, or just get pickles, go there and get pickles. I don't know. Jeff Ruby's pickles are really good. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 pickles. I want to figure out where they get them from so I can have them at all times. But that's my honorable mention.
I did not try these pickles, but I believe Brandon's enthusiasm is honest. So
I really wish I
Tim
could.
too.
I wish Erin could try them. We're gonna have to go. We'll have to go with Cole and Erin and see her review on the pickles
Yes.
as well. So overall score after adding everything up and me figuring out how to math and Lauren helping me out there, Jeff Ruby's gets an 8.5 out of 10, which is a good score for a restaurant for sure. We came out strong as far as our first review. 8.5 out of 10. So
And
I think
we
that
also got something that you normally would not want to order, which is Brussels sprouts. That's not your like, ooh, delicious side item. So, and sometimes it's hard to score those.
yeah, well, I gave it a 5, so it's Brussels sprouts.
Dropped it.
So after adding everything up, and Lauren helped me out with my math because I couldn't math, Jeff Ruby's gets an 8.5 out of 10. So I think one of the first things that comes to my mind when it comes to a restaurant as far as the rating is the correlation to the price. So as a more expensive restaurant, a little bit pricier, is an 8.5, is it worth it? And for me personally, it's definitely worth it. It's not something you're going to go to all the time. I think it lives up to the hype. There was a lot of good components about it. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I would love to go back, and I can't wait to go back. Definitely a little bit pricier, but for me, with the price point, everything we got, I was full, had extra food. They had great pickles. My favorite pickles. It's worth it. What about you?
It's definitely worth it for me. And I think even if you went to just have sushi roll, which we didn't even touch the sushi menu, and the pricing on those isn't that bad at all. If you got a sushi roll, maybe an appetizer or two, got a drink, even just splitting that with someone, it's not going to be that high of a bill. So I think there are ways you could spend less money there too and still enjoy the incredible food and the service and the atmosphere. So I think it's definitely worth it for what we did. We're not going to be going, every other week, but I definitely think it's going to be a place that we'd look to, like going for birthdays or to celebrate something. You do have to have a reservation, and they do fill up pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm very excited to go back.
Yep.
Maybe we can go back to for your birthday. That's the next thing coming up.
It's coming up for sure.
30
And just to
more.
kind of, in conclusion, everything as far as the numbers go, if you want to just kind of wrap it up. So service, both of us gave 10s. Location, both of us gave 7s. Ambiance or inside, the inside ambiance, both gave 9s. Bread, I gave a 6. Lauren gave an 8. Mac and cheese, I gave a 9. She gave a 10. Brussels, I gave a 5. She gave a 7. Burger, I gave a 9. She gave an 8.5. Steak, 9 and an 8. Fries, both gave a 9. Crab cake, I gave a 10. Lauren gave a 9.5. Overall, an 8.5 out of 10. Go get the pickles.
So on this episode of the Gunzelmans Give It a Go, Jeff Ruby's is a go.
We're out.